Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at here is a Peavey Nashville 400. Um, Here's the story. The owner of this, well, the problem with it is the speaker's open. If you put a meter across the speaker, it's open. So this is probably what, 80s era. We needed a speaker. Finding the original speaker is tricky, but the owner loves the sound of the original speaker. So I found it's supposed to be a Peavey Sheffield. That's what allegedly was in here. There's no markings on the magnet to indicate that it's a Sheffield. But I found a Celestian speaker I thought would work fine, and the owner gave it a thumbs down just because it wasn't the Peavey Sheffield. So unless we're going to magically find a new old stock speaker from 1980 something or other, I don't know. And so we have two problems. The owner is being particular and being economically conscious. So anyway, what I decided after looking at this, I'm going to pull this speaker out and run some tests on it, and we'll see if it's something dumb. I don't know that the owner had turned this thing up to 11 and really like blown the speaker out to death, or maybe something just happened to it where there's a broken, wire on, broken wire down to the voice coil. I don't know if the voice coil is racked out or not, so I'm not going to find out until we pull it. Okay, so here's the beauty of it all. This isn't a Peavey speaker at all. This is an Eminence speaker, and it looks like somebody pulled this out of something or other because there's no gasket around the face of it, and this was mounted on the face, which means it was pressing on the metal rim of the cabinet. Genius. This was made to be like mounted, the other way. So the voice coil makes yucky, crunchy sounds. The voice coil is open. There's no point in trying to be super careful. Let's just cut this thing open and see what's underneath. Maybe it will be something amazing that tells me what I need to do to fix this, or maybe I'll just be greeted by a big middle finger from that. But this is not the original speaker. I will bet you $1, because I'm not a high wagering person, but this is an Eminence speaker. It's from the 80s. It's like a 1984 Eminence speaker, so it's possible. But the gent being determined to tell us it was a Peavey Sheffield, I will tell you, you are, oh my gosh, look at this. This whole thing is like, this is all blowed up. Holy crap. What did somebody do here? Yeah, this is all blown up because this voice coil is seized, so any pushing on that was just crushing the cone. This coil is like completely seized into place. Yeah, this is done. Okay, that's totally done. Alright. So let's just cut that out of there. This thing is done. The only reason that thing even moved was because somebody was, somebody pushed the cone till it crushed the cone. That thing is toast. Absolutely toast. So let's just completely enjoy our destruction of the... let's see what we got. Let's see where it was burnt. If we can tell. Oh yeah, there's a whole turn of wire that's there's where it's open right there. I wonder if we actually tied those together, if we get continuity. Not like it really matters. This whole speaker's blown to snot. That's an aluminum voice coil former, so this would have been a higher wattage speaker. So I am tasked with finding an affordable, appropriate replacement speaker for this. Because this was a replacement speaker, and I don't think this was an appropriate replacement because it doesn't have any gasketing on the front. And yeah. So I already pulled the schematic. I think it's looking for a 4 ohm. But yeah, there's your problem right there. That's why your voice coil's open. In fact, I wonder if I can get continuity with the meter just for that. Just for my own amusement. But after cutting the dust cap and seeing that the bottom of the I was thinking I might cut the dust cap and find, you know, a wire's loose or something like that, but odds are we ain't gonna get any continuity on this anyway because of the enamel. But it's worth a try. Let's just play. See if we get anything at all. We're just experimenting. I don't think I'm gonna get any kind of continuity. I don't expect to. This thing is done. Nope, it's done. It doesn't matter. It's done. Okay, so yeah, after that, somebody did some big kaboom, maybe tried to crank a bunch of bass through it, or it farted and shoved this voice coil up too far and blew it. So it was jammed up in the front, and the whole cone under that dust cap was just already major damaged. Alright, to the parts department. Okay, so here we have a Roland Jazz Chorus 120. Is it jazzy? I don't know. It's big. It's pretty heavy. It's every bit as heavy as a twin reverb. And it's really freaking loud. I know that much. And it's obviously here for service and maintenance or whatever. So let's check it out and see what it needs. It still has its 3-prong plug intact, so that's an improvement from some of the things that we have had on our channel lately. And it goes clunk. Okay, so somebody broke the treble pot off. Let's start with this channel. There's your first problem. Oh, that pot's bent too. That's good. That knob is like bent on there. So we might want to do something about that too. Let's just see what it does when we put a guitar signal into it. Let's see. We'll go into the low. I think this is probably low gain, because if I remember, this thing is like blow your face off loud. Our volume is at less than 1. Let's try high. Yeah, that's even louder, so we're going to stick with low. This thing is loud. Which one was louder? Was it louder? Was high or low louder? They're both loud, but I think there's more bass when you're in low. Anyway, let's try the bright switch. That's funny. Oh, that's bright off and there's bright on. Okay, so the bright switch is working. Treble. Turn that down to 0. Whoa, that's volume. Wrong switch. Treble to 0. Seems to work. Let's try middle at 0. Middle at max. I think it's working. Let's try it again with both pickups. Let's try to put it at max. I don't know. I can't tell that middle does much. I can hear treble making crackling noises when I turn it. Mid makes some noises. It might just be subtle. Let's try the bass side. Let's max that out. Okay, yeah. So that one works. So This general area, I think, probably just needs a clean. I can work with that. Okay, now let's try this general area. First of all, the weird thing is these pots, or the jacks, have different nuts on them. Like the original nuts, which were plastic, broken. Somebody put metal ones on there, which is okay, but we might want to do some tidying so everything looks at least uniform. And that's on. Let's turn that off. Despite the treble pot being broken off, it at least works. Okay, that's cool. The middle pot. Other than being extremely grubby, it does work. Let's try the bass one. Yeah, that works too. Okay. Distortion, which has an on-off switch. It's not a lot of distortion. It does work. How about reverb? Yep, that works. I don't know if that's a spring or not. It almost doesn't sound like a spring. And then our vibrato. And our chorus. Okay, so I think off the cuff here, until we open it up and really dig deep into it, we need a knob for that, because we're going to need that pot and a knob. I think I'd like to change this pot just because it's bent. And then we just have some cleaning and general service on it. We'll find out what vintage this is, maybe a couple of filter caps, but I don't think we're going to be up a creek too bad for this one. It does seem to generally want to work. Okay, so here we are a couple of days later, and this is a speaker I ordered that we're going to put into the Peavey. It's from a group called PMR, or Hempopotamus. Yeah, I know that's a silly name. But these guys make speakers at Recone and stuff like that, and they're actually here in Ohio. This is my first venture, so if this is not cool, then it won't be cool. But this was an Eminence Legend bass speaker that they put the aluminum dust cap and a new cone in it. And you can see it's a heavily ribbed cone, and that should give you a tighter, higher frequency response. So you got the power of a bass speaker with the extended frequency range. Logically, this should work well in an amp for steel guitar. So we're going to put that in the Peavey. Yay. Okay, so we're back with our Peavey Nashville 400. I got all the kinks worked out of it, I think. The only kink that was kind of the weirdest one was this mid-range pot. It would cause a squeal sometimes when you swept through it, and I have blasted that real good with the contact cleaner, and that seems to have taken care of it. It's got a really flowy reverb to it, and the difficulty we had here was getting that speaker installed. If you know anything about Eminence speakers, now granted this speaker has now been rebranded as PMR Hempopotamus, but it used to be an Eminence, and Eminence has really thick gasketing on some of their PA speakers, especially those that produce bass. And since the framework started its life as a Legend bass, the gasket was really, really thick, and it made it pretty difficult to get the bolts to start to thread on. Once they were on, I only had to turn them like one full turn, and that was tight enough. But it also does prevent the rattling. I do like the thicker gasket for that, but it's tricky sometimes, you know. But anyway, the main reason we went with this speaker, it was the only speaker that was voiced for pedal steel, allegedly. And it's got the aluminum dust cap like the JBL and like the original Peavey speaker that was in here. And it seems to have adequate volume. And I hope dude likes it, because effectively it was the only speaker that fell into budget. The other options were all in excess of $200 if they were new, and used ones just really don't pop up that much. So it's awfully loud. Scoop a little bit mid, turn her down just a little bit, brighten it up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it seems fine. I can imagine this would be a lot brighter with single coils, you know, rather than the guitar I'm plugging into it. But and I don't have it on bright. There's a pull for brighter. You can pull that out and then it gets brighter. So that should give us more treble, right? Yeah, I think that's adequately bright there, right? Played guitar in several weeks, and it's painfully obvious, but that's okay. You know, I think we got this one done. The shop here is in disarray, not because of any horrible life situation, but we needed to have some repairs done on the wall. We are down here underground where we've been filming, and we're having repairs done on the wall. So due to that, a lot of my stuff is packed very tightly together, and it's difficult to move. And we still need to finish the Roland, and then I think this will complete this round of the, well, yeah, this will more or less complete the round of the Repair-a-thon. There's a couple other smalls that I didn't bother to show because they were disinteresting in my opinion. But anyway, that's a Peavey Nashville 400 from probably like late 80s. And it's a clean machine. It has a compressor in it. It's designed to not distort and not break up. And I'm not running it at a particularly high volume, and it seems to have ample volume. I hope dude likes the speaker, because it was the only one that fit in dude's budget. And sorry, dude. And honestly, I don't know the dude. I just know that I'm fixing this for the music store that the dude dropped it off to. So the music store owner plays middleman, and I was told budget, 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 so there you go. But anyway, what is it? It's PM, I think it's PMR Hempopotamus loudspeakers. You can check them out. It looks like it's kind of like a recone shop, and they actually are in Ohio here in my state, so maybe you'll find something that they do interesting. Okay, so this is our Roland JC-120. I had to change the treble pot and the depth pot. The treble pot was busted off. Here's the old one out of there, broken. And the depth pot obviously isn't broken. The volume pot was bent, but I straightened the shaft and it came out okay. Listen to that. You hear that? That just didn't feel right, didn't sound right, so I changed the depth pot, so that's quiet now too. And then we can try our infamous chorus here. Vibrato, which is probably going to sound really dumb. And if we crank up the depth, then it'll become ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, I would call this good. There is a knob coming in for that. It's just not here yet, but all of the actual work is done other than plugging a knob on it. So these are push-on knobs. There's really nothing to learn there other than turn your pot all the way down and line your knob up with 0 and plug it on. But loud as heck, this should complete this segment of the Repair-a-thon, and there'll be more stuff to come. You know how it goes. Thanks for watching. See you soon.